My name is James Mayo, and I am the Client Relations Manager, also a trainer for Dale Carnegie. And I've been here for over 2 years now. Prior to Dale Carnegie, I was an educator as well as a business analyst. I also owned my own business for several years, but ultimately I was a believer in leadership since I was 18 years old. Just studying all the great leaders and all the successful business owners in our country. And that's what brought me here. So one of my major duties here at Dale Carnegie is to onboard to-be participants. It's actually one of my favorite parts of my job. When participants sign up for a program, typically they're pretty anxious. You know, it's like, oh goodness, another training program. What have I done, right? And so immediately I reassure them and I remind them that they were selected, really nominated by their organization, their team leaders, because they were identified as high potential leaders. And when I tell them this, they're happy about it, and they're enthusiastic, and so they let their guard down a little bit, and I ask them what their strengths are. You know, what do you do for the organization? And again, they become more positive, and they tell me what they do, and they realize that they do add value to the organization. And then I ask them at this point, what do you think are things you'd like to improve, opportunities for improvement? And at this point, I've gained the trust. And so they start talking about things they'd like to work on and how it's going to impact their vision. And so overall, they're just very excited to be coming at this point, and just looking forward to develop and being the best versions of themselves. Another important step to this onboarding process is really painting a picture for them about what the program looks like. They have these impressions in their head about what they're doing. They might have gone to YouTube and seen demonstrations and are probably intimidated, but really giving them an idea of what the program is. And I think what really stands out between our training program and others is that it is active. It's an experiential type program, and they're not being lectured to, and so they're not going to be bored as adults do. So I think it's really important for them to get a good impression of what they're going to be involved in. So the next step after I've spoken to the participants, actually have a conversation with their direct supervisor. They are actually the ones sending them, so typically a corporation will send their employees. So it's important that I talk to their manager, get an idea of their expectations of their employee in this program, because those expectations have to be aligned with each other. And then I asked the manager, one question I think is really important is, a few months down the line after the program is over, what are you going to see and hear from your employee to make you realize, like, wow, that was a great investment? Because that's ultimately going to be the most important thing. With all this information, with the information that we've received from the participant as well as the manager, we also share this with our trainer, because what we want to do is, as much as we can, when we have the opportunity to customize and tailor the program for an individual, that makes it much more powerful for that individual to really buy into the program and realize that they're just not another seat in the house, and they're actually important. And that's how we develop the relationships with our participants. Another main thing that I do for Dale Carnegie is I get to know the various businesses around our community. So when I have conversations with decision makers, and I'm asking them basically what their organization does for our community, I genuinely want to know what value they bring to our city. Then we start talking about the different challenges that they're facing, people-wise, and in my mind I'm thinking, how can we provide value to this person? How can we help this organization grow so they can be the best that they can be to provide what they can for our city? And that's where we're really getting to know the challenges and understanding what the implications are, so then we can also help them see that certain challenges are going to affect them in the long term. But I think ultimately the most important thing in these conversations is to develop that relationship, is to ensure them that, even if we don't have the solution now, that, think of us in the future if there's something that comes up that is a challenge in terms of people. More than likely we've got something that'll help alleviate any kind of challenges that they're facing.